when you think about it, you really have to at points. Certainly if you are one of those, shall we say, girls who always get what they want, well, it's a clever way, isn't it, of making sure that your husband, well, is kept in check. And more importantly, if you burst into tears from time to time, well, truly, you can then yes, get your own way. And this is a tactic that Meghan Markle has used time and time again. And none more so given the fact that, apparently, according to an excellent source, Meghan and Harry feel these particular stories are making their marriage unhinged. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome one and all. You know what I mean? We've all had friends like that, haven't we? Where basically sometimes it's just easier to give in because they just won't stop, or a work colleague that won't shut up. So you say, yeah, okay, you can do that just because you think, right. Then they suddenly get their own way. One of the things that I've often realised when you think, sorry, we'll have a wave, nice to see you. And yes, welcome to everybody. So I'm miles away here. But yeah, it's a bit chilly. That's the reason why. Absolutely. Not making excuses. No. That was a lame wave, you're saying. Well, have another. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. The thing is, it's true though, isn't it? The sort of person you think, oh no, it's easier just to think, all right, I'll give in. And I thought this, as I say, with Meghan and Harry way back when, he allowed her. I mean, think about the stupidity of this. He allowed her on camera, on Oprah Winfrey for Harpo Productions. And this would have taken a nanosecond to check, that basically had this fake lying secret wedding. And Harry, very studiously, so frightened to upset the Queen, as it were, Queen Meghan, of course, I'm joking, but because he didn't want to upset her, so he went on and agreed. And then suddenly, and remember, this was something, if you check it out, that the then Archbishop of Canterbury could have been put in prison for. I mean, it's at that level, isn't it? When you think the stupidity is off the realm, right? Now, here's where this is interesting. As we know, Meghan and Harry, their Netflix deal is dead. They're not interested in cooking and all that sort of stuff. And according to an excellent source, apparently Netflix now want to have a look at some of the figures. Yeah, not the figures of the ratings. They know they're dire, and the figures of the sales equally more dire. What they're really interested in, apparently, is to look at exactly what she's planning and the projection for the things like the jams, the honey, and the bottles of wine and champagne or whatever she's selling. And that's going to prove really difficult, in fact, because they are tangible. What are you doing, right? I mean, there's your problem. You can't just put a few bottles in a bookshop and hope that's going to work. So Meghan, as ever, always has another plan. And the idea really is all about this. You see, she believes that their love story is now tainted. Really? And the thing is, she wants to counteract that. Now, basically, she is citing, alongside a staff member, the fact that, well, things like Bethany Frankel, should I say, basically, keeping going on about what she did and how she did it. Everybody knows how Meghan Markle snared Prince Harry. He was a victim. He was willing to find a girlfriend, and he wanted somebody to tell him what he wanted to hear, which was, of course, that maybe they're a reincarnation of his late mother, the beautiful Diana, Princess of Wales. And it worked, some people might say. But consequently, Meghan believes that all this negativity, the stories about the mood board of where she had pictures of Prince Harry, she always apparently says to staff that that's not true. Theirs was an organic love story. She wasn't looking to get involved, certainly wasn't planning to get married again, but he swept her off her feet, and consequently, love stroke, and there you are. And this is exactly where we are today. You get the picture. Moving forward, you see, this naturally can be monetized, because this apparently, according to Meghan's team, would give her an opportunity to point out to the rest of the world that this was a beautiful organic love story. Maybe this will be something that Hulu might be interested in, or Netflix, or maybe another streaming giant like Disney Plus. And it would see them sitting down talking about exactly how they met, what happened, who said what, because if you remember, Meghan has already teased this in her With Love As Ever Meghan, when that guy, Tan Franz, said, who said I loved you first? And she pointed out, he did, right? So she's already set the store up, as she always does on every single occasion. And behind the scenes, apparently, Harry now, as ever, with his head twisted in many different variants, thinks, well, maybe this would be right. Maybe this would silence the critics. According to a source, he gets very depressed when he sees headlines about, marriage problems, divorce problems, all of that sort of stuff. And she apparently is convincing him to set the record straight, would finally set the record straight. Naturally, though, all on camera. Oh, and naturally, for money. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.